What's going on, guys? It's me, the King, and 2019 has only just begun. We are not even 10 days into the new year, but recently I've been looking at the future and I've been thinking about how much of a great year I want 2019 to be. Not just in terms of giving my channel a bigger, much needed push, but also in terms of the absolutely amazing games that we have to look forward to this year. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, the amazing games that I'm excited for in 2019. Okay, so if you know me at all, or have even just taken a 5-second look at my channel, then you will not be surprised to learn that Kingdom Hearts 3, releasing on January 29th this year, is making the top of my list. This game is coming out in just 20 days, and as many of you know, when the game does finally drop, I do plan on going all out in my attempt to complete the entire game in just one sitting. I have been waiting for this game for over 10 years, and the fact that later this month the wait will finally be over is still unbelievable to me. It still doesn't feel real, but it is, and I am so hyped to get my hands on this game. I may even have an emotional breakdown during the opening cutscene. That is what this game is doing to me. Next up, I want to talk about Devil May Cry 5 launching on March 8th. Now, I will be the first to admit that I am absolute hot garbage when it comes to hack and slash games like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, and as such, Devil May Cry is a series that I only really dabble in, but still, DMC5 is going to be a must-have game this year. I'm mostly interested in seeing the awesome flashy boss fights and the outstandingly good writing that this franchise is known for, but most importantly of all, any game at all that has this song in it is a game that I absolutely need to buy. I've already stated how this year I aim on giving my channel a huge push, and that's because much like the following game,
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
Yes, that's right, Pokemon 2019. Now, like 99% of people my age, I grew up both playing and watching Pokemon, and as such, it shall forever be a series close to my heart. However, unfortunately, I do feel as though some of the latter titles in the franchise have slightly lost their touch. I wasn't really much of a fan of the 7th generation games, Sun and Moon, in particular the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon versions, but I am hoping that since the main series Pokemon games have finally made it to the home console, after 20 years, I mean seriously Nintendo, what took you so long? I'm hoping to see a breath of fresh air blown into this franchise, revitalising it and shooting it back up towards the top of the best game franchises where it rightfully deserves to be. I was given even more hope just a few months ago when Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were released, two games that I had such low expectations for that I wasn't even sure if I'd get them, turned out to be one of my favourite Switch games of 2018. Now, we currently know literally nothing about this year's title, other than the fact that it is a main series Pokemon game and it is coming to the Switch, but fingers crossed that it is a good one, because Pokemon really deserves it, and it really needs a really good main series title. Okay, so I am kind of cheating with this next one. Cyberpunk 2077 did make the list, despite the fact that it's not being confirmed for 2019, but I just had to put it on here. Now, I haven't actually been following this game all that much. In fact, I hadn't even heard of it until E3 last year, and I know very little about it, so it will most likely be one of those games where I just wait until it's been released for a few days, and then I'll check out all the reviews, and there'll be plenty of gameplay floating around YouTube, and that'll be before I even decide if I'm going to pick it up. But this game is made by CD Projekt Red, the people who made The Witcher 3, which is considered by so many people to be one of the best games of all time. So my expectations for 2077 are super high. Resident Evil 2 is the first remake to make it onto the list, launching later this month on January 25th. Now, as you guys already know, I'm going to be very preoccupied with Kingdom Hearts 3 over this time period, so unfortunately this may be a game that I missed this year. However, I do hope that it is not, because I have never played a single Resi game before, and I do believe that this could be a great introduction into the series for me, as I just haven't managed to get around to playing the series yet. From what I do understand though, the game is being remade in a similar style to that of Resident Evil 4, which is considered to be one of the best Resident Evil games, so High hopes for this one, and hopefully I'll remember to pick it up later this year. Doom Eternal is again another unconfirmed release date, and Bethesda has gone through a bit of a rough patch during 2018 with the release of Fallout 76 being a huge disappointment to many fans, but there is still hope for them, and Doom Eternal could be a great start for them to make amends. The footage I've seen so far looks more or less the same as that of 2016's Doom, but that is great because that is exactly what I wanted to see, as that was one of the top tier games from 2016. There are some slight gameplay tweaks here and there that are made to improve upon the formula that Doom provided, and they all look fantastic. I in particular love the grappling hook-like mechanic where you zip towards your enemies, as well as having the destructible demons. If you are even slightly interested in this game, then I highly recommend you check out the Quakecon 2018's gameplay reveal, which I'll leave a link to in the description down below. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is up next, releasing on the 22nd of March, being the next game by From Software, who are one of my absolute favourite game developers as of late. I absolutely adored Dark Souls 3 in particular, and I am very excited to see what they do with Sekiro. The grappling arm looks super gnarly and gross, and I imagine it is going to be a fascinating mechanic to mess around with. If I'm being honest, I'm just looking forward to more Soulsborne gameplay, and I am very happy to see that it is in a new setting and a new style, especially with a Japanese theme, as there is a ton of potential that can go along with this, as all of my fellow weebs will attest to. Releasing some point this year is Code Vein, which is particularly appealing to me. As I've just said with Sekiro, I absolutely adore Soulsborne gameplay, and Code Vein is Soulsborne meets anime, so right off the bat, when you combine two things that I love very much, I'm going to be very interested. Code Vein is being made by Bandai Namco, who practically dominates the anime game market, so they do know how to make a good one. My only slight concern with this game is that due to the fact that Bandai churn out so many anime games so frequently, most of their games are either really good or very poor, so I'm just trying to be optimistic that it will be the former. Next up, I want to address Nintendo, as there are not that many Switch games coming out this year that I'm really excited for, although Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely one of them. With no specific date announced yet for Luigi's Mansion 3, it could be, just like the Resi 2 remake, a great way for me to finally sink my teeth into this franchise. I did think about picking up the remake for Luigi's Mansion 1 when it was re-released late last year. However, the thought of going back to a 3DS after having the Switch be my go-to console for Nintendo games just feels so strange. I couldn't bear to think about it. But hopefully, Luigi's Mansion 3 will be a great place for me to start. Another remake did make it onto the list, with Medieval launching some point over the next 12 months. I cherish the idea of remakes, and I'm glad that we are still getting so many of them. I especially feel that this was helped greatly by the more recent ones, most notably Shadow of the Colossus and the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro trilogies being so well received. Again, much like Resident Evil 2 and Shadow of the Colossus, I'm hoping to use the Medieval remake to finally get my chance to play such a classic old school game that I missed the first time round. So that's my list. There were so many more that could have just as easily made it on here, but if I were to do them all, then this video would never get made. It would just go on continuously. But let me know in the comments down below, what games are you guys most looking forward to in 2019, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.